guys, thank you so much for joining us here. Industry Interviews, Sessions with Sissa. My name's Melissa Strain. We're so happy that you've joined us today on the Commercial Dance Intensive. We will be joined shortly by Everth Lopez. And here he is! Hi!
We made it.
We made it! How are you, Everett?
I'm good. How are you, Mel?
Good, doing good. Oh, I love that you're outside. That looks so beautiful.
Thanks. Yeah, I thought it's beautiful today in Miami, so I was like, let me go outside. There's a lake. It's really nice.
Oh my gosh, and I see that you're wearing some really cute CDI apparel.
I am. Look, check this out. Yes.
Absolutely love it. Love it. So, Everett,
Nice.
would you like to start by giving us a bit of your backstory, where you're from, maybe a bit about your training, as well as your career and where you are now?
Oh my gosh. My backstory. Grew up in Miami, left after college to New York just for a quick minute. Then I moved to Vegas for 1 year to do a show, and then moved to LA. And I've been in LA ever since. So I've been in LA for quite some time, pretty much like half my life.
Wow, that's amazing. Awesome. So let's go ahead and talk about how you booked your first job.
Okay, that was the first big show I did was when I was in New York. I auditioned for a show in Vegas called Notre Dame de Paris. And it was a musical. It was a huge hit all over the world. And it went to Vegas, and it lasted about a year in Vegas. American audiences didn't like it very much, which is totally understandable. But in Europe, it was huge, in places like Argentina and Russia. It was a really big hit. Interesting musical. I loved it. I liked it.
So you auditioned for that show in New York and then had to move to Vegas to perform it.
Yes, I went to Ailey for the summer, the Alvin Ailey dance program, and then I stayed in New York so that I can, be in New York and be like a New York dancer. And around November, I was like cold and tired and hungry and worried. And so I auditioned for this show and I got it. And it was a great contract in Las Vegas for a year with this incredible production at the Paris Hotel.
Wow. That's amazing. Yeah. And so what was the show that you booked after that?
When I got to LA, I booked, I did a quick job at a theme park called Disney's California Adventure with the choreographer Travis Payne, who's like incredible. I did that for about, I want to say 6 months. The theme park had just opened, and it was amazing to meet so many LA commercial dancers. And then after that, I booked Lion King. I think I booked Lion King after that.
And where was Lion King?
In Los Angeles at the Pantages Theater.
Wow. And if anyone knows anything about that theater, it's so majestic and incredible and a historic theater for the West Coast.
Yeah, it's a beautiful theater. It seats, I don't know how many. It's huge and it's very historical, very Art Deco. And just all the Broadway shows, tours go there, and it's in a very central part of Hollywood. It's beautiful.
And so then after that was Wicked, right?
No, after that was Cirque du Soleil. It was a world tour with Mia. Mia Michaels choreographed it.
Wow, and what show was that?
That was called Delirium. It was a world tour. It was Cirque's first arena tour.
Wow. And
yeah, that's fun.
Do you remember auditioning for that?
Well, that was a funny story because I had auditioned for Cirque du Soleil, like in general, in Vegas, like a couple years before that. So they kind of knew who I was, and they had me in their like, Rolodex or whatever. They had me on their, in their files. Yeah, yeah. So then years later, I think Mia booked the job as a choreographer. And I think since I was on file, she kind of like told them to like bring me on board. So yeah, but Cirque had been trying to like, they had offered me so many shows before Delirium. But then when they offered Delirium, I thought, oh, I like this one. I'll do this one. Not that I didn't like the other ones. I just don't think I was ready to do one of those Cirque shows. I was so young, and they kept offering me like these incredible shows and tours and parts, and I just wasn't sure until Delirium came along. So I said yes to that.
Those shows are incredibly athletic. So it takes so much to sustain yourself. And I don't know, maybe it was a smart decision because the longevity of your career really depends on how you know to take care of your body.
Exactly. There's so much responsibility that comes with that. And I felt that. I felt like I just wasn't ready. Even though they were offering me these incredible parts, I just, for some reason, wanted to sort of wait. And then I'm glad I did, because the Mia Michaels show, Delirium, it was a dream come true job.
Yes, there's so many great people who are involved in that show, some whom we both know together.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
So then tell me how you went from there, and then was Wicked next, or?
Yes. After Cirque, that was a 3-year tour, a world tour. And then
3 years?
3 years. Such a good job.
Wow.
Such a good job. Yeah. I went back to LA, and I would say within 2-3 months, I auditioned for Wicked, and then I got Wicked. But I had already auditioned for Wicked. It was my 3rd time auditioning for Wicked until I finally booked it. Took me a while, but yeah, that was just a couple of months after the Cirque tour.
Wow, that's incredible. What an exciting trajectory of your career, and it's such a variety as well, you know.
Thanks. Yeah.
Musicals and Cirque, and then touring. It's so amazing.
Yeah, and you sprinkle a couple little, commercial dance jobs in there in LA, like local jobs, like cool projects with like Vincent Patterson or like Brian Friedman or Travis Payne. Just so many little, not little, but shorter jobs in LA. There's so many incredible projects going on in LA. So many incredible commercial dance projects all the time. I know.
There's work. It's a misconception that there's not a lot of work. There's a lot of dancers, but there's also a lot of work.
Yes, and if you don't find the jobs you fit in, you create them, you make them, you figure it out, you find your people, you find your tribe, you find those other directors or like-minded people, and you stick with them, and before you know it, you're working on incredible heartfelt projects, that you never even imagined were real, but they really start manifesting, and it's incredible. I love LA.
That is beautiful. Oh, so good. So are you ready for your next official industry interview question?
Yes.
So what is something in your career that surprised you?
Oh, that's a good question. Surprised me in a good way.
or something about the industry, something that you didn't expect,
To be honest, I'll be really honest. When I didn't really grow up in a dance studio, I grew up as a gymnast. And then I was also like an actor and like schools of the arts and stuff like that. But when I got to LA, I thought everyone was just kind of like a random artist or, go-getter. And then it took me years to realize that a lot of these people in the dance community had grown up together through like conventions or competitions, and they had been training their entire lives to be these incredible dancers, like at the auditions and in all the jobs that you saw. And I think it just took me a while. It was kind of a moment of light bulb where I was like, oh, like I didn't grow up this way. So of course I don't have the same level of comfort or ease at these auditions or in these jobs that so many people do because they grew up doing it. It just took me a while. For some reason, I thought everyone was just sort of like, gypsy artist, figuring it out, like, and then I think that was a surprise or a realization that I had to come to at some point. I was like, oh, like they've been doing this since they were kids. That's how they know each other. And I had no idea. I didn't know that many people from the dance community, but a few who really helped me from Miami. So I guess
That's
that's
awesome.
kind of a surprise. Yeah.
Definitely. And it's really unique actually because in our world of performance, there's so many dancers and performers from different backgrounds. So you have gymnasts and you have ballroom dancers and you have classic studio dancers and then you have actors who then morphed into dancers and seem kind of like it's a melting pot in a lot of ways. And I think some of the first jobs or first programs that you become a part of, you find, like you're saying, you find your tribe and you find your mix of people with different styles and different skill sets. And it's so cool that you have such versatility. Being a gymnast, you know, you have to be so strong and become flexible, and you just have a different wheelhouse than a lot of people. And then from there, you push yourself forward and become accustomed to all of the choreography as well as the acting beats, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I had to sort of, even though I was working and I was auditioning and I was sort of in the pool of all the working dancers, I still had to sort of learn on the spot how to project in the same way. Because again, I came from such a sort of gymnastics acting background that I really sort of needed to figure it out really fast.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes
and
sense.
sometimes you don't realize it until you're at the job or at the audition, and you're just kind of it's a vibe, it's an energy thing, and you just kind of got to figure out how to make it work. LA is incredible in that way, and that it's so fast. Everything is so fast. There's no like time for rehearsal. It's like you learn it and you shoot it. Goodbye. It's it's and that's another big surprise. It's just shocking because sometimes with shows or what I was used to was rehearsing and getting it right, figuring it out. And then LA, it's like, no, get it now. We're
Yes.
shooting now. No one has time for you.
Yes. No one has the money to shoot it again.
No, God, no.
Right.
God.
Okay, so our next industry question, Everett. What is one style or skill you wish that you had trained in before you became a professional?
Hip hop, for sure.
Ooh. Yeah.
For sure. I was able to book a lot of hip hop jobs before even moving to LA. Like in Miami, I was able to book some really cool hip hop jobs from LA choreographers like Jamal Sims and people like that. Um, but I used to fake it. I don't even know how I did it. I faked it and somehow I booked the job. But then when I got to LA, there was so much hip hop going on and I was so lost often that I just I appreciate it so much more now that I know so much about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wish I would have had that sort of versatility in me because I was so technical, I was so ballet, I was so jazz, I was so contemporary, which I love, but I just wanted that little bit more hip hop sort of edge, you know.
Add in that flavor.
Yes. Yeah. It takes time, it takes work, it takes skill, you know.
Absolutely. Okay, so besides telling yourself to take hip hop, our next question. If you could go back in time and give advice to your 15-year-old self, what would you say and why?
Aww. I would want to tell my 15-year-old self, you know, to take the time to reflect on what's good for the future. Um, yeah, because it really is like a big picture thing. And I think oftentimes I was very sort of present and in the moment, which is good too, but I think I would have liked to have sort of looked ahead into the future to just plan things out better. I think I was always like, okay, this is great for now. This is the job I want now. This is great. But then I wish I would have sort of thought more about the future, planned it out. Like now that I'm teaching Pilates, I wish I had started at least the studying of Pilates years ago.
Right.
So yeah, I guess yeah, I would I would say plan for the future. I would tell that to my 15-year-old self.
That's great.
Okay.
So, Everett, do you have any advice for the next generation, for the young performers during this current time that we're in?
Yes. So I'm kind of turning this sort of negative feeling situation into a very positive time of self care. I'm also doing a lot of cardio, a lot of Pilates, a lot of boat riding, like canoeing and paddling and stuff. I'm just really taking the time to.
Canoeing?
Yeah, we have a canoe. We have a lake. It's amazing.
Oh,
Yeah, but again, I would have never had the time to do this otherwise. So, again, just finding activities that you can do as a routine every day, it will make a big difference during this time. And before you know it, 4, 5, 6 weeks from now, you'll be stronger, you'll be happier, you'll really have done that activity and mastered it, and you can see it in your bodies. You'll be prepared for auditions, you'll be prepared for classes, you'll be prepared to see the world again, face to face in person. And I think this is the time to use this time to your advantage.
absolutely. I love that. That's great advice. That's so cool. So, our final industry interview question comes from Casey's favorite podcast called How I Built This.
Okay.
Okay. For your success, what percent do you think is based in luck, and what percent do you think is based in talent and skill?
I think it's 50-50. I think. I definitely feel like I've gotten so lucky, so lucky. But then it's like, I think luck either runs out or it's sometimes just once in a while. I think the talent and the skill has to be there in order to sort of come across that luck again, and then take advantage of that opportunity and just like make it happen. I think it's both. I think it's 50-50. Just work your butt off and then be ready for those opportunities when you're in front of that person that might give you that job or make a big difference in your life or career. And it takes a lot of talent and skill to do that. I think it's also just passion. It's a lot of heart. It's a lot of heart. Whatever your heart's in, you're gonna make it happen. So you just gotta figure it out and work on it.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so great. I love that. And you do have such a strong passion. I love it.
Thanks. Well, being around people like you who are also passionate,
We inspire one another and we benefit the industry by working together.
My name is Everth Lopez. Are you ready to work?
Thank you so much for joining us today for industry interviews. We love you so much. Thank you for being on faculty with the Commercial Dance Intensive. And we'll talk to you soon.